I'm going to go for a convolver right off the bat. And let's start out with just a simple kind of patch. So let's get some of these experimental spaces out. And I'm going to turn the gain down a bit and really crank this feedback. So let's see what happens now. So it could be maybe cool to have some distortion and then modulate the drive. So let's go in here and see what kind of cool wavetables we have in this spectral section. So let's maybe scrub through this super slowly. Could be cool to have a sub oscillator. So let's get another oscillator out, maybe use a square wave. And then let's try maybe low passing that and modulating with the same, or actually another LFO, also going at a pretty slow rate. So maybe to increase the evolution over time, we'll have another very slow LFO. And maybe this one brings in a third oscillator. So let's go for maybe another wavetable. And let's modulate the gain of that from 0 to maybe 70%. And maybe let's try an upper harmonic on this, like 4 or 5. Maybe it could be cool to have some smooth, random, kind of a little bit quicker of a modulation on this wavetable position here, so that we have a more unpredictable, quicker modulation that kind of works its way in over time. So maybe we use this longest modulator as more of a climbing, like over time and then drops off quickly. And it could be maybe cool to have a nonlinear filter at the end of the chain that kind of opens up so we get a little bit more of that analog sound. So maybe boost the Q and then the drive, which will kind of level off the Q but give overall distortion. right, so we're getting a little more evolution here now. Let's get another LFO out. And we could use this maybe at a synced rate. So let's try something like 8/4. And then here we can use the grid to set the amount of notes that we want. And maybe we'll start here. If I hold Shift or Control, it'll snap to the grid temporarily. And then on the divisions here, we can choose what kind of quantization we want our scale to be in. So if there's 16 notes in a scale, that should give us normal Western quantization right there. So let's get 2 of these and have them running at different speeds. Let's try 4 triplet here. And then what if we map one of these to this high octave that comes in? So I can map this to 16. Or maybe it would be 12. Let's try 16, but I believe 12 would be what I'm thinking. But let's then map this other one to the mid oscillator here. Let's see what kind of sound this gives us now that we have a little bit of modulation on the pitch. There's some cool things happening there. It could be cool to maybe have some delays. So maybe I'll get a snap heap out and do some delays. So let's go in serial bus 1 and put a delay. And maybe just start cranking up that feedback a bit. And then I'm going to play with this millisecond. Let's hear what happens on 50% mix or so. So already I can tell that some interesting kind of square wave random would be nice. So what we can do is turn the chaos down so that this is a little bit more predictable of a square wave. And then if we get another LFO out and we use this to kind of change between a slower and a faster speed and have this one go pretty slow, then we can get some nice little pitch wobbles going on in our delay time. So this will now basically give us little bursts of quicker modulation interspersed between slower modulations. So we could have this delay duplicated and then change the timing slightly, and let's do that a few times. And then if we click this little button here, these will all just become kind of parallel bands instead of serial, I believe. Or let's see. Yeah, I think that'll make them parallel instead. Looks like that's correct. So let's get a few filters out and do some different filtering on each one of these with the band pass. So let's kind of like low, mid, and high band. And then maybe we'll have just an LFO that's kind of moving those a little bit. What does this sound like? So that's kind of cool, but maybe if we just blend it in with the mix amount here, it would sound a little better. Okay, that's kind of an interesting sound. So maybe what it would sound good is maybe put it into some reverb. So let's try some reverb. Maybe try a little chorus going into the reverb. So that's cool, but I would wonder what happens if we take this whole thing and then take another sub, put it underneath. So let's get another sine wave and really crank this one. Really crank the gain on that going out. And then maybe what if we had like a distortion so we can maybe play with some intermodulation stuff. Oh, maybe not that loud. So I think it could be cool to modulate that volume of the sub so that it's not distorting the top the whole time. Satisfied with that drone. Let's resample it. Cool. That should be a decent assortment of drones to play around with. So the cool thing about the drone is because it's pretty much one pitch, although I was playing a bunch of different pitches there at the end. It's pretty fun to like make melodies with these. So could be cool to just try that out. So I'm just going to throw in like maybe a drum loop of sorts. So let's see, Sephiroth loop. This is at 152, so let's go 152. That's kind of cool. Let's consolidate that and then use another beats mode to kind of chop it with the forwards and stop. This is a cool little groove idea that I've been playing around with. This is the name for it's called decelerando, and it's basically talking about grooves that sound like they're slowing down over the period of a certain amount of bars. So over 2 bars in this case, I'm just slowing it down slightly. See how they're starting to fall off grid at the end, and then it comes back into sync. kind of a fun groove to play around with. Alright, that's kind of cool. So let's try a little melody with this this drone we made here. So something I like to do to get these in a normal range is just throw an operator in there, play a normal range, and then get this and just tweak this root note. Now I know it's in pitch, I can just mute that old operator. I'll leave it in there just in case I want it. But now I know this is in tune and in the right range. One thing I like to do with these is you can kind of turn down the volume to velocity, so you're always going to get the same velocity. And that enables you to get a random velocity and use it for something else. So we could get this true random preset. Huh. Where did I put it? Oh, well, we can just get a random. Oh wait, that's not even the right plugin. We're looking for true random velocity here. So it looks like this. And then we can set the velocity to control the sample offset. So every time we hit a key now, we'll get a new start point if we crank up the attenuation on that. So depending on how much we do here, we can control kind of the window of randomization. See, it's not really going past this point unless I move this start point. So I can keep it kind of in this first area. It's kind of cool because it gives a different timbre for each note struck. We can make it more plucky. We could also do maybe a glide on it, so it's like this. And then maybe let's bring in this operator and do a square. And then maybe another square and detune it slightly. That's kind of fun. I'm going to just play around here. something there we could work with. Let's see. Maybe a little note plugin. Alright, so at this point I'm going to duplicate this patch and then do something else here. And just kind of random. I'm going to do a wavetable instead. Tight.
Cool.